Oh my God, that's pretty friggin' dark. Yes, perfect.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so this is the office. You know, we had so many boards hanging around. Like, this is Randy Slay. He was one of the guys that inspired me shaping. One of Brock Little's. I don't know whose that one is. Todd Chesser's. Pato. I think this Stars and Stripes with Shane Dorian's. Archie. Bobby Martinez. Archie. Italo. Jordy. Hobie. Italo. More Italos.
How long's Italo been riding your boards now for?
Wow. We're thinking about that. So he's 28 now, and I think he started riding with us when he's like 13.
Oh, 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like Jadson's little
no,
little buddy.
In Bali when he oh gosh, he was his first year of the Oakley junior thing.
Oh yeah.
And he was kind of off to the left doing these full rotations. Everybody's just like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
It's just
every
single wave. Like
I was in I forget what I think I might have been in like Canary Islands, and he was doing a contest in it's called Ginchu Beach. And Dino, he goes, "Hey, who's that kid?" I go, "Who?" Because I couldn't even pronounce his name. I mean, first time you heard it, what'd you say? Like, Italian? Where is he from? Like, I'm like, I don't know. It's just some guy Pinga sent us up. He goes, "Man." He goes, "He'll be on tour next year, for sure." I'm like, "You think so?" And he was. He goes, "I just watched him do a floater on like an 8-foot wave, upside down, crack it. Not a floater, but he bashed it."
Yeah,
Like, and I remember the wave. I'm like, "Oh yeah." He goes, he'll be on tour.
Is that when you started shaping his boards, or?
No. It was way before that.
Before that.
Yeah, so we had him in a good position of like kind of what he was doing. So that was, I think he was just frothing kid like around here, without a lot. There was nothing else to do in his zone.
Yeah, just surf.
I don't know. He looked like he was hanging out with his dad a lot and fishing and surfing.
So you got the intro from Pinga?
From Pinga, yeah.
Okay.
Then I always like this kind of stuff, it's just really cool for, like, even the kids that are in the picture, that's probably, I'm looking at that one, everybody looks like they're probably in their early, mid-teens, probably not over 18, and now they're 25 and have kids. But to have that is pretty cool. Like, I look at that one and go, oh my God, he's got a kid, he's married, he's already got a house. He's a full realtor guy. Killing it. And buying surfboards off me still.
I know, right?
Now we can afford them.
No discount for you.
I'm glad I was nice to him. Didn't kick him out of the water. So it's, it's always building a community.
Yeah.
Relationships,
man. It's huge.
I've pissed off people, but that was in my younger days. Hey, I'm Tim Patterson. You're in San Clemente, California, right here in the hood. Kind of a lot of good shapers come out of this area. And we're going to take a good look at my shaping rooms and what we do all day long. And yeah, I've been doing it for a couple years now. Full production kind of started in the early 80s. I think full production for me was 84, starting late 70s, just getting my hands, whatever I can afford at the time. You're a Grom, you don't have money, take old boards, make them. So let's check it out, what we get to do. Yeah, so right here we got our guy, Keith. He's really handsome and he won't admit it, but so he's kind of one of the main components of our business. So what we do is what I design goes through him. So we'll start over here, write up the order cards, and all our programs are already programmed in my computer. So what he'll do is, right now he's cutting a 4.5, 16-inch, kind of a tiny board.
4.5?
4.5, yeah. So, yeah, yeah, that's what he's doing. So what he does, gets it here, inputs it in the computer. Sometimes I check them, sometimes I don't. Right? The best thing for me is when they turn out really good is if he's working and I'm working. When they turn out pretty good, okay, that means I'm over here, so I let him do it. That's his job, right?
That's right.
If he's doing his job, I get to do mine, so it works really good.
Perfect.
We try to have fun. So then from there, we go play in here for a little bit. Oh, actually, they'll be cut. So when they come off the computer, we'll get a cut. So we will get it cut and shape it from here. They're so close to what we want, with the design program, and I find for just personally myself that my background in hand shaping, like on a production level, to relate to this program, I'm not like with hand shaping, you got your numbers, but then there's a lot of natural feel. You're doing this, and it's like, oh yeah, putting little marks here and there, and you're scrubbing them. So I've adapted my hand shaping style to the computer. I'm not a numbers guy. Like, I don't know, it just looks right. So I kind of go off a lot of my background of hand shaping, inputting that to the boards instead of like, well, that's wrong. You're not supposed to design like that. So I don't limit myself. It's a wide open book. It's like, well, here's exactly what you wouldn't do in hand or a program, but I'm like, well, that's how I hand shape, so I'm going to do it. So it's kind of like, limit yourself, you're going to get limited. For me, I'm like, try stuff that I don't like. Why not? Well, because it's not in the rule books. There's no rules for rule books. Don't work that well for shaping, for me anyway. So if I know that's one of the employees. So what we'll do, and it's kind of cool. This part of my career, it's a little later, and I don't get to surf as much as they do. Sometimes I'm tired, but I call some of the employees a kind of younger crew, and even the cutter over here, they're my lab rats. And I'm like, okay.
As far as your designs go?
Yeah. I'm like, because they've tried most of the designs. I'm like, hey, why don't, like, I just get weird. And I'm like, I want to know how that works. Make yourself a board. And there's, so you got a lab rat, go taste this. And they go surf, and they come back, it's like, oh my gosh. So I can get some really, like I was saying earlier, like we get some instant results. Like he likes a certain model that was an older model. He goes, well, this one worked way better than this one. This was my magic one, but I like the way this works.
You're able to do that within a day sometimes? Like
yeah.
You told me earlier, you kind of...
Yeah, like if he came in and I made that yesterday, like this will take a couple of days. but again, like I'm saying, if it's done within this time frame, we're like, okay, let's change those. I think actually I don't know what Idlo's writing right now in Tahiti, but I think I saw a clip. I made a 4-fin for him. It looked like he was writing it, yeah, in a little free surf, and it looked mental. It's like, I remember that board, it was done in a couple days, and then he's in Tahiti. But that was a board that I made for some of the team riders back in the day. So it's like, try not to touch it too much. I'm like, well, I want to see what we're writing in the early 2000s to late 2000s, it's over 15 years old, the design. Little touches here and there, but still to put it back in the water and see people go mental, and I'm like, oh my God. So what's old is new, and what was old and there's new, that kind of fades out, and that becomes new again. It's weird.
Full circle.
Yeah, well, I think that's really special for this area because, I mean, there's a lot of the kids, they're like, I want to try that. I'm like, no, there's a box that you have to be pro surfer this. Then you get the kids that they'll never want to do that. They just want to go to the beach and have fun with their friends. And I think that's really special about this area in Southern California is they're like, piece of crap. What are you talking about? Yeah, but it's the best board ever. I'm like, let me see that. And I'm like, I see what you're talking about. It might not, just because it doesn't have the look or whatever. It's not what they saw online or, it's almost like, good thing we don't have mags or, I don't know. But
that's changed a lot, right? Like everybody's writing all these different alternative kind of.
Yeah, and that's totally not my forte. Yeah. But this design right here, this one I call the synthetic model. I had a board brand called Synthetic, and we started in '84 down at Hobie Surfboards with Damian Bronner and this other guy, Darren Jones, yeah. And we're going to be the kids, man. We're going to take over the world. Pathetic surfboards. But this is kind of that tribute. It's got a little V, way flatter, a little more outline, a little hip. So that's, and then, stuff like this. It's like, I remember Italo was on, when he's going to Australia. I made one of these because it was so small in Huntington. He's only going to be here for like a week, just doing some stuff with Billabong and cruising around. I made him a ton of boards. I'm so excited for these boards. I just threw an extra one in there because it was small, and that was his magic board. That's the one he fell on and broke in half in the locker room. But
that's the one's got the fuller rail.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen
yeah. So it's flat deck, really pinchy right here, but it's just got a little area. So it kind of throws everything off. It's like, okay, wait a minute, this guy, he's at the very top of his level riding something that was just to go have fun out here. Like, because it's small, and he's riding on tour, making heat, riding in Olympics to his championship, and I'm like, so that's the thing, is like, this one was just an afterthought. Oh, we'll just design something really quick and have fun with it. So it's like, wow, so all the years of designing hardcore, just dialing it in. Yeah, those are good, boss, but this one's really fun. Just, oh, you're kidding me. Then you get back into your design mode and really do your best, but sometimes you just got to throw something in there, see if it goes. Yeah. And fortunately for us, it really went well. I think that's one of them right there. Yeah. So here's one of Italo's right there, little squash tail. I look at that and go, that's what I grew up on. My first thruster had a kind of rounded and little bump, a little fuller nose, flat deck. So I kind of I rode one a few years ago from the early 80s, a Hobie, and I always liked that board. I'm like, we always laugh at him. Well, look at the way you used to shape like, or this guy. Then you ride it, you're like, why did it do that turn? And I can't get that turn yet out of my board. Yeah, okay, what did he do? But this is like something that he rides a lot at his home. You'll see him do crazy flips and huck it, and looks like he's got glue on his feet, but stick it to his feet.
It's just got fun to drive, still able to bury the rail.
Yeah. When I know what board this came off of, the Master. This was off a Fish. Literally, like, it's off something like that. So your retro Fish, if you want to call it that. So just a lot of design differences that you wouldn't do in a traditional board nowadays, because you got to copy everybody else. It's got to look the same. It's got to have this perfect. Not copy everybody. You know what I mean. I don't know. I get bored sometimes, and I just got to do something different. I'm like, I don't want to do another one of those. Something totally opposite. So you just kind of relax and go, I would never do this thing stupid. Then you ride it and you're like, I need one of those.
Those are fun.
Exactly. They're just fun. And that's what I think Orange County, you know, it seems like it's always fun.
Yeah.
You know, but I just watching some of the guys surfing nowadays, some of the kids, you know, from the local kids around here, and they're enjoying surfing more than like the generation of the 90s for me, where say you're in your prime and stuff, was a little more different.
Yeah.
To watch them, those guys don't even care.
They don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. They still bug you, but they're still having fun, you know? And that's kind of, I think that describes like Orange County and our whole community of surfboard shapers and surfboard workers. Because those are the guys behind the scene that make it happen for me. It's not because I'm in here scrubbing out. They're listening to how I like the glass and the edge, even down to the leash puck, fin logo placement. I'm picky. Like this will be epoxy, so it'll be,
epoxy?
yeah, so it'll be ultralight. And
See, that was the one that I was just walking through. I always walk through HSS and check out boards like before I go to the office.
yeah,
And that was one of the ones that caught my eye, and it was just like, oh, this is different. And I saw the tail too. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, this looks fun.
yeah. So it's
But yeah,
yeah, but why did that catch your eye? Exactly, because it's different. I remember some of ours, Japanese. They're like, oh yeah, all the boards that come from this area, all new designs, they all feel the same. I'm like, wow. He goes, California has it way different. They have a model and it feels different. I'm like, oh good. Stuff like that. So this is, you know, this is our shaping area, and
you want to talk about some of your tools here?
oh yeah. Well, some of the stuff that I like, I really, you know, I didn't develop this. I just made it out of necessity. You know, let's put it this way, all this stuff is still pretty good. My back's good. I don't feel anything weird every once in a while. So I have to design for my shoulders, really, actually. And then just the little blocks like this, the width of them even. Like it's got a little hourglass shape, just so it fits my hand, because it does go up my bones and it really, really, really hurts. Stuff like this, where it fits the rail. I mean, I'm shaping like this. I'm not taking a square block on a round surface and trying to make it fit. I'm like, nah, let's do that. I mean, this is epoxy. It should scratch the crap out of this foam, like usually these do, but it's designed not to. Like I like to sand the edges down so I don't get any of the marbles that we get. Hey, there's my best friend. So this is my daughter. She always stops by and bugs me. No. I enjoy her when she comes by. So he's doing a tour.
Cool.
What are you doing?
Going surfing?
Of course you are. This is something I did. I made this one quite a while ago. Let me move that bug at me. So this is something I made quite a while ago. Just, I think I was talking to someone. I started shaping it, and it was just fun. And it had a string. I want this really cool gun. I'm like, I'll just make a little one. But then over the years, I mean, I started off. I mean, everybody starts off by making a little surfboard almost. It's just fun. I mean, like that. So we're just, you know, there's a Maurice Cole. He's got his little guy and his patented yellow rails, and the kids will make this. This kid made me all these. My daughter made that one. Donald Brink made that one. It's really cool. Timmy Reyes made that one. I remember him making that. Then you'll get versions of like, I got a crayon for a surfboard. Sometimes there's a whole bunch, and then I'll blow off the room and they go up my vacuum. But it's really fun to hand a kid a piece of foam and watch him whittle on it.
Yeah.
It's like, that went really well. This is the family wall. Some of the kids. There's my son, myself, my father. Grom trip. Me and Matt Archibald, we went a trip to Japan, had a blast with our kids, with our boys. But like, again, this area had some really good influences, from the shapers to the boat designers that were here, like a Hobie and Phil Edwards.
Templates.
Oh yeah, so my old templates, my old computer, I just liked it. It was funny. Had to stick it on the wall. Calipers, just the little things. I like making the stuff. I got a little downtime or a little bored. So it's fun to just create, make some tools. Like I said, watching guys create stuff with their hands, not store-bought. Like, why would I want the joy of making something and having it work properly or not working properly? Like, okay, this is on. So just stuff like that, Of course, everything hand-shaped back in the day, having all your tools, the right tools.
Do you still hand shape at all?
A little bit,
Yeah.
Not too much. I'd like to more, but you really I like a vacuum system.
Sorry.
It's not hooked up right now, but I started in here hand shaping quite a bit because I wouldn't do the guns off the computer. So I could always hand.
Are the guns off the computer now?
Yeah, they will be now. They are, yeah, most of them are. But I used to just hand shape them all in the toe boards.
Right.
We were doing a lot of boards for like the Long Brothers and Parsons and Gerlach. And actually Romana. We're at the kind of the beginning of toe surfing. Like then it changed the next year to where they got, instead of a 6'4", you're riding a 5'7" on a 50-foot wave. Yeah, so that's part of the fun of what we get to do every day, especially, this place is unique.
So much cool stuff in here.
And then over here we got Lost. There's Milton. Hey, Milton. How are you, my buddy? He's a guy from Peru shaping up here. He helps out with Lost. Does a really good job. All these, they got a lot of good workers. Got Buddy Bud.
How's it going?
Good, man.
And all these guys work at Lost. Hey.
Not me, I work on it.
No. He fixes everybody's car. We got Big Daddy in the pink car.
Yeah. Well, I did it just for these guys. They think it's so funny.
So we'll go in here right now. So this is the factory. Acetone and resin, can't beat that. But they'll come in here, get the fin systems in. We do all the routing in here, any extra sanding. Then from here, they will go over through this wonderful door, and production goes through here. So all our fun chemicals. This we use mainly in the winter when it gets when it gets really cold. We just have a small heater. We don't heat it up too much. It's not UV resin. It keeps the temperature inside here. We don't have to over catalyze, kind of all the stuff. Down to the drip taste, so we don't have as much waste on the floors. A lot of it, when we laminate, we scoop a lot of resin back into the buckets. Instead of over pouring like that much, we're like that. So every board, I would think every board we're probably saving, if you're really using these efficiently, you're saving about 2 cups of resin, which adds up at the end of the year. So it goes through here.
That's the first time I've seen it. Okay.
The guy, yeah, that's why they're not dirt filled. That's Carter. He's a hot coater. So it's really cool. The guys that are fishing with it, they just scoop it back in the bucket instead of hitting the floor. And instead of dumping a half bucket of resin on the floor and then using that much, use a little bit, scoop back in, but they keep them pretty clean. They're not trash cans. They're actual part. This is the part of the tool. So when you're saving a bit of resin, it just went up again. That's why your boards are cost so much. Keeps on skyrocketing. It's crazy. So from here, after they get laminated, they'll go into here. in Mr. Carter's room. So wow, it's pretty thick in here, huh? Whew. So what he's gonna do next is he'll do a little, we call it paste resin, gets a little extra coat. So when they sand, they don't get cloth. So there he goes, he's starting. So kind of what he's doing there is making sure there's any teeny little bubbles, filling in some of that. Then he'll wipe the rails a little thicker, then put another hot coat on top of that. Just our method. Makes it a little easier. And they look clean after. That's the main thing. Then from here, after he's done, he'll drop in these plugs next. Then they go from there into the fun room. So then from here, they get sanded. And we got our worker, Sarvando. He's an animal. He'll do anything. So from there, we get him pretty darn, the way his method, I just like the way he doesn't leave too much resin in certain areas. All the right resin is all in the right area, you know? But that's what's unique around here. I get to do my style surfboard, whether someone likes it or not, doesn't really matter to me. I like my style. And what's really cool is we just ride by the gang, you know, and they all work at Lost. We all get along. We have fun. And that's what's really special, I think, for this area. Everybody gets along pretty good. It's like if you're any different, if you're kind of that guy, you kind of get kicked out by everybody, not just one shop. They're like, oh, that guy's it's great. Keep everybody in check, even myself. I can be not so fun sometimes. But then, you know, it is, as you can tell right now, it's pretty smelly. It's a hard job. So it's how do we make it a little funner? These guys have a hard job. You know, they make it look easy because they've been doing it forever.